You know, one of the characteristics that makes Anchorage such a unique place to live is the diversity of our population. And we celebrate that diversity every year. We have Diversity Week, it's now Diversity Month, but I want to take that celebration in a slightly different direction. You know, 4 times Anchorage has been an all-American city. What does that mean to be an American, an all-American city? Should we be celebrating the fact that we're different, or the fact that all of us share certain universal values that despite whatever cultural or other ethnic differences we may have, we celebrate those same values? People from all over the world come to America so those universal values can be realized. Don't we all want the opportunity to raise a family in a secure environment, to get a good education, to worship freely, to have a job that is rewarding, to maybe start a business of our own someday, express our political views in a public forum? Aren't those the things that unify us and are truly worthy of celebration? I think they are. You know, the reason people cross the ocean in flimsy rafts and stow away on jet engines or cross desert borders to get here is the fact that those unifying principles are what makes America great. So our administration will be promoting a community celebration known as All Americans Week with the theme, Respect Diversity, Celebrate Unity. I hope all of you will join in this special community celebration as we move it forward. You know, I'm a 4th generation Alaskan. I've grown up with our Native people, and I have so many friends in the Native community. And I want to pledge to our First People that my administration will work hand in hand to make sure that a culture of mutual respect and dignity will be our standard and will be expected throughout this community. I look to our Native leaders for your wisdom, for your advice, and as more people from rural Alaska move to Anchorage, we will need to work cooperatively to make sure these new residents don't just find a place to live. We're going to make sure they truly find a home. You know, my wife and I on Sunday had the opportunity to meet Peter Kolar, who's the ambassador from the Czech Republic, and his lovely wife as well. You know, he told us what it was like in 1989 during what they call the Velvet Revolution, when communism fell. And, you know, he told us after 50, 60 years of oppression by the Nazi and communist regimes, how his country finally achieved democratic freedom. He told me how grateful his country will always be to America, as he recognized that without the efforts of President Reagan and the American people, their freedom would not have been possible. Well, how is that relevant to what we're talking about today? Well, I relayed to him what was going on in Anchorage, Alaska, with the recent discussions in the Assembly chambers where the discrimination ordinance and the issue of the Knickarn Bridge literally brought hundreds and hundreds of people who clearly do not agree to the public square to testify, to let their feelings be known. I told him how some people contend that this public disagreement tears our community apart. He gave me this wise smile and he said, Ambassador Kolar reminded me of one very, very important thing. He said, the essential element of democratic freedom is the freedom to disagree. For so many decades, disagreement in his country meant imprisonment or worse. In America, the right to disagree is taken for granted, but it really is something special. And sometimes that disagreement does get emotional, and sometimes it does get loud. But you know what? Democracy is like that. Sometimes it's messy, it's sometimes unruly, but it works better than any other system. And we're extremely fortunate to live in a country where public disagreement is not a crime, but a healthy part of the process. You know, we don't expect people to always agree with the decisions made by our administration going forward, but we will always respect your right to disagree, and we will always lead by example in keeping the discussion civil and the process open to everyone that wants to participate. Well, finally, I received a letter from the owner of a company from Indiana, a company that's been in business since the 1870s. And they recently purchased one of our prominent local businesses. Well, while he was in town, I got a chance to meet with him. I've had some good meetings over the last few weeks, as you can tell. He was in town. I was able to brag about Anchorage, brag about our fair city, our strong and diversified economy, our well-educated workforce, our parks, our trails, our unsurpassed natural setting, our unique and wonderful native culture and heritage, and the seemingly unending opportunities to be successful. You know, it seems like when visitors come, whether it's our family, we always appreciate these things more because we get the chance to show it off to others. So he sent me a letter, and he thanked me for the briefing, and he complimented me on my passion for Anchorage. But more importantly, he related a thought that someone had told him many years ago. He said, if someone goes into public service seeking power, fame, or fortune, they will ultimately find themselves disappointed and disillusioned. But if you go into public service for the right reasons, to make your community a better place to live, then you will be extraordinarily rewarded. I hope that when my time as mayor is through, both myself and the citizens of Anchorage will indeed feel extraordinarily rewarded. I only made one promise during the campaign trail. I repeat that promise a lot, and that is a very simple one. I will work every single day as your mayor to make Anchorage a better place to live. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you all for being here. If you would please join us out in Town Square, our celebration will continue with the barbecue. Thank you.